Hey everybody, Dr. J here. I'm going to do a better job of timing myself. I just made a video and went back and reviewed it, and it was way too long for the time slot that I have available. I guess I just have so much to say to you guys. You did such a good job on your discussion board this past week. This is my favorite discussion board. All of them, I have certain reasons why I like them, but this one is more personal because I really enjoy mentoring young people, and this is a very common situation. The example and scenario was about a young woman in an abusive situation, but this goes both ways for both men and women. So I like what you guys said. Lots of good suggestions for multiple components in your treatment plan and approach. I think you guys recognized the dynamic of the person and the situation, and recognized the influence of the child, and had some good things to say. So let me go through my notes here. I jotted down like 3 pages of stuff as I was going through because I wanted to just mention different things. The first thing was good suggestions, lots of multifaceted approaches. The plans I thought were good. Each suggestion was valid, and I think that they were good ways to go. And what I would say is a therapist or psychologist or psychiatrist would probably use a couple of different suggestions and try to see the personality type of the client, how they're responding, and then maybe go on down that path. Sometimes this is not a perfect science because you have so many different personalities, and you do kind of have to see what works for people, you know, where they are in their journey in life, where they are in their awareness of their situation. Good recognition of that. Okay, confidentiality. Let me address the issue of friends versus psychiatrists, psychologists. I do believe good friends are important. I wouldn't be where I am today without good friends to be able to cry on their shoulder and lean on them when you need support. I'm not saying that they're not important at all. But what I would like to throw out, something for you guys to consider, is one of the things that professional counselors and therapists provide is a safety of confidentiality. They bring a lot of education, historical experience, you know, and every therapist is different. Just because you go to one and you don't like that person or didn't have good results, it doesn't mean that they're all created equal and they will all give the same kinds of suggestions and feedback. So I would encourage you to keep an open mind, keep an open heart. You know, some people respond to group therapy, some people respond to people who have different approaches from theoretical perspectives. So enough said on that, except that there's a difference between friends and their support and professionals. Sometimes if you're, say, the person who always keeps everybody else together, sometimes you need that safe place to go and fall apart and have permission to fall apart, because so many times people who are, and I'm going to use the term like the rock of a family, you know, they don't feel like they have the permission or the safety or the ability to fall apart because so many people depend on them. So all of those things go into it, and just remember that counselors and therapists have a lot of professional training to help deal with these things, and there's a lot of times that people have smaller problems in the grand scheme of things that others can help you through. Other times they're big and they need professional help. Something else that I can say about that is sometimes whenever you're in a situation, say it's an alcoholic situation or an abusive situation, sometimes the people that you surround yourself with may be in those same kinds of situations, and by you recognizing your situation and making some decisions to change that, kind of puts the burden on them to face their situation as well. And if they don't want to face it, they may not give good advice that's good for you because they're just self-preserving, whether they mean to or not. They can't help you expose those irrational beliefs and thoughts and things like that, because they may have the same thing going on. So those things. Somebody else mentioned the importance of the child, the reason why this young woman needs to recognize what's going on, because if that child grows up and sees that that's the norm and that's how you treat somebody, if you care about them, it perpetuates the cycle. Exactly what's happening, exactly what happens every day around the country. So just important to illuminate that. And sometimes for people that have children, you can just point that out to them, and that's enough for them to say, no, I don't want my kid to think that this is how they need to be treated, and they'll carve a new path. So someone says the person was very smart. If she's so smart, she should be able to, make decisions and change easily. Sometimes smart doesn't mean that you have the courage to change your situation. To think about people who smoke. I mean, most medical people know it's not bad for you, but there's something else going on with it. So sometimes just being smart is not the whole thing. Let me say this about sometimes the distance between the head and the heart can be the longest distance. You may know in your head one thing is going on and you need to change something, but in your heart you have a different emotional experience, and marrying the two sometimes can be very, very difficult. Listen to people, listen to their language. They will tell you what kind of person they are. If they say, I think this, I think that, I think this, I think that, they don't put very much emotion in their thinking. Other people, they'll say, I feel this way about that, I feel this, I feel that, and they're very emotionally motivated in their decision making. Those two things are very telling in where that person is making their decisions from. And one of the things that counselors, psychologists, and therapists try to do is to try to work those two pieces of the personality together, so that people, when they make decisions, that they can also use the balance of the head and the heart to make well-informed decisions. Okay, now I'm running out of time again because there's just so much to say about this, but let me leave you with this, because this is a huge body of literature in social psychology. This is why people get into gangs and cults and get into groups that they are just loyal to. Someone said that a lot of abusers have a loyalty trait, that they somehow feel like they deserve to be abused. It's a self-esteem issue, and one of the things from the humanistic perspective says that everyone wants to be, one, loved, and two, accepted. Love and acceptance are two very, very powerful motivators. And so, that being said, the gangs and cults, they prey on people who are kind of outcasts. They don't feel very much love and acceptance. They have low self-esteem. They bring them into those groups. They build them up. They make them feel those feelings of love and acceptance. And then they have this fierce loyalty to them. And then once you move past that phase in the relationship, if they try to abuse that situation or something, they have such a strong sense of loyalty in that environment. That's how things get carried away. So there's a whole body of literature in social psychology about that, but that's a very important component. Okay, I don't want to do it, but I have to wrap it up, otherwise I won't be able to post this on YouTube. I'll make another video for another announcement. Thanks, you guys are doing a great job.